what up, y'all? It's me, Nate Almighty, and I want to talk about a post that I just seen by 50 Cent after the video that I dropped, which would have been a couple hours ago, in regards to Sasha Penn announcing the new, what is going to be Book 5 series that shows the early life of young Ghost and Tommy. And with 50 Cent making this post, and it's called Power Origins, I now feel like they will be taking a Game of Thrones universe kind of approach when it comes to it. Now, for those of you who watch House of Dragon and Game of Thrones and you're into that lore and you're following what they're doing as they develop shows from the books and stuff like that, the people who run that show and everything to do with HBO, they've been talking about how they want to do movies in the future, how they're going to have shows that are not going to have as many as 8 seasons like Game of Thrones, but they may be shorter mini-series, right? That may have 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, you know? It's a way to, one, save money by not having to renegotiate actors' contracts. They're always looking to save money and not pay the talent. And also, it gives them an opportunity to expand and make money off of other ideas and expand on the lore of the said given intellectual property, and this intellectual property being the Power universe. So, I have a list of the potential spin-off series that will come from this, and chances are that none of these series will be 6 seasons like the Power show. I think that after Book 2 Ghost, and probably after Raising Kanan, and maybe Book 4 Force, they're not going to have any more shows have more than 3 or 4 seasons at best. So first, let's talk about the Ghost and Tommy series. That's going to be the first way that they roll this out, because that will build up hype for anything else that they have coming after. So this Ghost and Tommy series, which I already called, will likely be detailing what goes on with Ghost and Tommy, right? In between when Kanan goes to jail and then the very first episode of OG Power, we virtually know nothing about this in between period. So it'll be perfect for them to build an unlimited amount of a narrative and a plot for that, right? But let's talk about the other Power Origins series, right? Or mini-series that can or may come from this, okay? If Power Book 5 would be Ghost and Tommy, the next best idea would be to do Power Book 6, the Thomas family, where we then get to understand why Joyce Thomas is the way that he is, why Eli Thomas was the way that he was, and exactly how it was for Raquel, Lulu, and Marvin growing up on the South Side in the early 60s, right? 60s and 70s, what it would be like for them. Around this time, the drug of choice, the most devastating drug within the black community, was heroin. So we would see a lot of cool, like, revolutionary stuff going on. Some mentions of like prominent people at that time, around that time, like Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, people like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, people like that, right? And we can see the beginning of Raquel Thomas getting into the drug game, and also we would get to see DEFCON. We would get to see a younger High Post probably, and we would get to see a younger Detective Howard. So all of this would be very, very, very dope. And also, aside from that, in relation to Raising Kanan, another part of Power Origins could be them showing us the beginning of Ronnie and Unique, aka Breeze, because by this point where they developed this show, Raising Kanan will be wrapping up. or it will have just wrapped up, meaning that we will have confirmation that Unique is Breeze. Yes, I'm still on that cliff with that theory and that prediction, right? I do believe Unique is Breeze. So now we will get to see Unique as Breeze, talk about his early life, right? Talk about how Ronnie was growing up, and that will give us even more motive to want to actually see it happen. When they announce it as its own thing, or say that it may be included in the like Raising Raquel or whatever they're gonna do with that, right? Or they could put it together instead of separating it, right? Which would be very, very interesting. Another thing that they could do, because we're talking about power origins, okay? They could also give us the beginning of CBI in Chicago. I think by the time Force is done, I think there will be enough attention on, hey, let's exactly see what the early life of Diamond and Jannard was, right? And what's going on with them over there, right? Because you got to know, they're young, they're from Chicago. There's a lot of gang-related stuff. There's a lot of political stuff they could do with that. They could include the GDs, but they probably won't. But they could have a character that's based off of, the originators of the Gangster Disciples, and that could be a whole thing. But going back to OG Power and 2 more origins shows or miniseries that they could give us. Dre's early life. I think a lot of people would love to see Dre's early life before he became who he was when we met him at what I believe was season 2 of Power. I think a lot of us would be interested in seeing that and seeing the relationship dynamics he had with his mother, right? Because we will find out that she'd be just as much a worse mom as Joyce Thomas or Monet, right? And speaking of Monet, I believe that after book 2 is over, people would be very interested in finding out about Monet's early life. And they could give us a short mini-series origin story on Monet. And then we can include Mecca, because a lot of us feel like Mecca was underdeveloped and he had more potential on the show than they gave him. We could find all of these things out and see what kind of person Mecca was before he became the GOAT of global snitching. Y'all let me know what y'all think. This is great. Y'all just, they giving me a reason to just continue working and do what I do, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's gotta get, that's like buying ink. That's on the dome, nigga.